Okay, we are on the line, at least that's where we're going to start. The line begins, we keep us nogah dibiyah. It's about one-third down, one-third from the bottom of the page. What do I call it? Huh?
That's why.
Yeah. So as we were saying, although the Rotzon Anonig is tzimtzum, it becomes contracted, meaning contraction means not just quantitative reduction. It means less and less the force of the godly force, less and less the force, the dynamic force, the chayus. Like we have in our illustration the principle of walking on a flat land or walking on an infinite land. It is both in Olam Hazeh, but there is an essence, an element of infinity, of wholesomeness. Wholesomeness in the sense there is no end. However, the Rebbe made it, there is no end. Because it says that like it says in Ayin, that Gulim come from the mile and say there is Tarsus. It's no, and therefore there is no mile or matter. There is no end. It is in a final in Olam Hazeh HaShofel, but in Olam Hazeh HaShofel it still represents this godly reality. And this godly reality, this is in the, so to speak, in the soul, in the spirit of man, to relate to it and live with it. Particularly and us, the Jewish people, because then we ultimately together cannot relate to tzimtzum. We can relate only to a godly principle. And the spirit of man in general. This is what intelligence is all about. And we said many times, what's intelligence? Intelligence is you see a reality without identifying it with your hands. That's what intelligence is.
That's to say, sort of seeing through any element of tzimtzum, seeing beyond it.
Through it, not beyond it, because it is tzimtzum, and it is within the physical. Everything is justified on the physical. Like I said, the sun gives light. Light is not a physical phenomenon, but it comes to us through a physical means. But the experience of light is a spiritual, it's a limitless experience. And that is the environment that we live in, even though it is within the general domain of a tzimtzum dike, very tzimtzum dike level. To the extent that you can explain it completely on a physical level, but you also recognize there's something There is a source. There's something else that it represents. It is physical, but it presents something different. And it's up to the spirit of man to choose what part he wants to live with, the spirit or with the physical. And here's where we have to Omer HaKoil. Omnom, however, although it comes down Lamato Mato B'Yoser, all the way to Klipah's nogah. So let us now, he brings down all the way to Klipah's nogah. What's Klipah? Klipah, a shell. What's a shell? There was a cover to a fruit. It in itself, why is it a cover? Because it has no life in it. So even though it's Klipah's nogah, but Klipah's nogah, so it is not a coarse shell. It recognizes that there is something inside the shell, but it itself is a shell. So it comes to a lifeless level, but nevertheless inside there is a life. Omnom, however, hakoil nichlal berotzim v'tanag hapnimi shebteinu u'mitzvah shishom Yisrael. This, all of it, is nichlal, is included, and it is part of, and it feeds off the rotzon and tanag hapnimi shebteinu mitzvah shishom Yisrael. But this is saying it's not merely that it is drawn, it comes from the nichlal, it is included here. What is this additional term, nichlal? Not in terms of a source. Nichlal means like this. Yes, indeed, Yurei Olam Hazeh Hatach. And even in Klipah's nogah. Like we said before, I'm walking on the earth, it's flat. And from the perspective of what I am experiencing, this is a flatland that will end at a certain point. But I know it's not going to end. There is something infinite that's encompassing it. This is nichlal berotzim v'tanag hapnimi shebteinu mitzvah shishom Yisrael. There is something that holds it together. Something that enlivens it, that is beyond the Klipah's nogah element, beyond the tzimtzum. It's a godly reality regardless of where it is. Das meint es nichlal in the rotzon v'tanag hapnimi. What is the meaning of rotzon v'tanag hapnimi? This is rotzon chitzoni. Rotzon chitzoni means it is there in fact, but as long as the fact lasts, it's there. There is not a reality behind it. Take it or leave it. Rotzon v'tanag hapnimi means no matter how small it is, but it is pnimi, it is mine, it is real. That's rotzon v'tanag hapnimi. It may be very limited, but it is pnimi. And therefore, this is all nichlol not utanig apnimi shebteiro mitzvahs yisrael shom. Shall kein omar. Where therefore it says, Bereshis came to creation of the world. It says Bereshis. But what is the creation of the world stand for? Bereshis, which is Beis Reshis. Bishvil HaTeira v'Yisrael shenikroim Reshis. For the sake of Teira and Yisrael, which are called Reshis, this is what the creation of the world represents. Again, let's put this in concrete terms. It means this. The world as we see it, the physical world, is constantly asking, where is it coming from? It has no self-sustaining presence. However, it says in this flat world, there is a reshis. There's an element that's called the reshis. Torah Yisrael reshis. Reshis means that it is original. That's why the Rambam says, Motzei Rishon. There's a Motzei Rishon element in this flatland. There's a fundamental reality in this flatland. Why? What for? It says there's nothing to it. The rots and anointing that enlivens it, that makes it be, is a reshis. It's a self-contained, self-sustaining reality. That is the spirit behind its existence. Not its existence is really flat. And there's no reason, yes or no, to be. What's a big deal? But in here there is, but the spirit behind it is reshis. Is an original reality. Uksiv. And also it says in the Pasuk, if not from my covenant, day and night, which means if Hashem says, if not from my covenant, day and night, this is the covenant with Torah and Israel, which initiated the creation of the world. So it says further, the conclusion of this pasuk is, Chuki Shemayim Ba'oretz lo something. I would not have established the rules for Shemayim Ba'oretz. The rules for Shemayim Ba'oretz, day and night, and the whole cycle, the whole yearly cycle, everything is because of Brisi. There's a reality behind it. There's Brisi in the life. Ki Ayin kol zeh, which means to say that all of this is nothing more except rak, only b'derech aga. It is a by the way presence, b'tofel, and it is completely subservient and secondary. L'gabe hoyiko, relative and subservient to the iko, to the principle. The principle, this is what it's all about. This is Brisi Shemayim Ba'oretz, Brisi Yem B'Olayim, this is Yisrael and Torah mitzvahs. This is what sustains the world. So the entire creation of the world is a tofet, the gabe hoyiko, ve'alkein, and therefore, gam ha'hasham shochad yitzeinus harotzein. The hamshoch of Chitzenes Arotzin itself, which when he's saying here now is, yes, behind it there is the Rotzin Pnimi of Torah mitzvahs, and we saw that I said and so on. But then it's Nimshach Mishtalshel, in the Chitzenis, till Olam Hazeh HaShofet. This is Shtalshelus, and Olam Hazeh HaShofet. This is Chitzenis. There is no direct interest in that. This is Derech Haga. So he says no. It's all Nichlal in Torah mitzvahs. Means, if not for my covenant today and night, I would not have set up the rules of the Shemayim Ba'aretz. But since I have a covenant, therefore the rules of Shemayim Ba'aretz are actually a derivative and representative of this covenant. And therefore, that's what it says. Therefore, Gam HaHamshocha the Chitzenis HaRotzen. The Hamshocha of Chitzenis HaRotzen itself. Even that level of Chitzenis HaRotzen, Hu Alidei Toiru Mitzvah Shom Yisrael Dam. Chitzenis HaRotzen says it is Derech Haga, Tof. It does not have its own purpose of its own. But nevertheless, it is also really included in the Rotzen HaPnimi. And therefore, the Hamshocha Chitzenis HaRotzen is also Alidei Toiru Mitzvah Shom Yisrael Dam. It is through Toiru Mitzvahs. Something. This is the, so to speak, the natural rules of Shemayim Ba'aretz. This is the Chitzenis. This Chitzenis is affected and directed and enlivened by Bris Shemayim.
Affected and enlightened by. Often we have the example of the whole world standing and all the creatures and oceans, etc., until one man is put there. So seemingly this whole structure of nature runs by itself, and then comes man, he sees through it and he gives it purpose. Here we're saying the opposite. If not for Beis Reishis, I would not have made the laws of nature.
When it stood by itself before the mission came, it was in anticipation of what it stood. It wasn't standing on its own.
It was in anticipation of Adam Rishon.
Yeah.
It's seemingly working, seemingly being and
doing nothing.
Yeah.
He was waiting for him to come.
Waiting for what?
For Adam to come. For the human being to come.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Thanks.
When Adam stood up, all the beasts came to him. Oh, now, okay, you gotta leave it. Till such time that Adam decided that, hey, beasts are maybe superior to human beings. All right, let's go. So, Gam HaHamshocha the Chitzenis HaRotzen, even the Hamshocha all the way down into the Chitzenis HaRotzen, Hu Alidei Toiru Mitzvahs and Shom Yisrael Davke. In other words, this Bereishis is not just the source, but this Bereishis, this is what that carries through the whole Seder Yishtalshelus as far as it goes, infinite, because it starts from infinity and therefore it goes into infinite. In our conversation, our discussions, what can be more illustrative of this principle? We have a physical element, physical energy that brings light to the world. What can be more visiting the Indian that yes, there is an infant cookies from my order, there is stable mitzvahs. And that enlivens the world even within the worldly parameters.
Saying you think physical light is representative of is in the same realm as direct mitzvahs, or is not physical light?
It is in the realm of Torah mitzvahs. It's light. It's ruchni.
It's what?
It's ruchni. The whole experience of, we discuss it all the time, the whole experience of sight is a ruchni experience.
Disconnected.
Huh?
Connected to mobile device.
It's a ruchni experience. It's an experience even now, it's an experience based on our intelligence, not on a physical means.
Paltiel? I always thought, before, I always thought Ketonius was something external in service of the Pnimi. But this presentation is that L'chol Pnimi Yesh B'chinas Chitzonius and Moisros. It seems like this, that there is a Pnimi, inside the godless of the Pnimi, there's also Moisros. But Lav Davka that Chitzonius is in service of Pnimi. It's expressive of Pnimi, but it's not in service of Pnimi.
When you say in service of Pnimi, you have to qualify that. Pnimi does not need any services from Chitzonius. But Pnimi has a Pnimi intent in making itself known, and revealing itself. Normally it reveals itself on a Pnimi level. Chitzoni takes it all the way out. Like we say, my futza, my nesecha chutza. My yonis need the chutza. My yonis don't need the chutza. A mayon is a living wellspring. Does it need a spread to be justified, to be ascertained in its presence? Not such. But what is the essence of mayonis? Mayonis is to bring the maya everywhere, to bring to encompass everything into this maya, and that is the chutz.
So the difference between Chitzonius and Moisros is just ad kam it goes, distance. But Moisros goes very far.
Right? See? We'll see. If need be, we'll discuss that. I'm sure nothing is left unsaid. שזהו מה שאומר ומה שאומרים בנוסח הברוכו. This is surfacing the fact of what we are saying in the nusach of the bracha. Elokeinu melech haolam. So these are three references. Elokeinu, melech haolam. So this is making a statement like this, that in order that they should be melech ha'olam. What is melech ha'olam means? Shezehu b'chinas chitzonius ha'rotzoin. Melech ha'olam, this is the chitzonius ha'rotzoin. This is mamash chitzonius ha'rotzoin. How he relates and bestows his malchus on the world. Who that is affected alidei shehu elokeinu davke. It is by virtue of the fact that he is Elokeinu. It's meant Elokeinu. Elokeinu means Elokei Yisrael. Shamas Yisrael. Elokeinu because he's Elokeinu. Davke because of Elokeinu. This is the initial impetus, initial reality. And because he's Elokeinu, therefore he's Melech. That is going into Melech. With Talmidei Chachamim Nikroim Banoim. Talmidei Chachamim means Talmidei Chachamim who learn Torah. Nikroim Banoim. They are called Banoim, builders. Why are they called Banoim? She'eskim b'minyon shel oilam. She'eskim b'minyon shel oilam. Because they are engaged in building the world. That's what we say every day in davening. Atikul b'noyach al b'oy noyach. This is a statement, a clear statement that says the kiyum ha'olam, that the sustaining of the world, who alidei Talmidei Chachamim davka. It is exclusively to Talmidei Chachamim, because they are the ones who bring the yin and the initial rotzen mimi into the world and give the world a source of sustenance. And as the expression in Gemara is Dibre Chachamim Elo Beheva. The Dibre Chachamim Elo Beheva means Chachamim speak Beheva, in that which is present, which is factually present in the world. In other words, there are many possibilities. I'm talking about halacha. There are many possibilities. Even the Torah is also speaking about that which is behoiva. For instance, the Gemara Torah says, "Kiyirach shoyet ish." If an ox gores, and there is all kinds of halachas associated with this goring, the responsibility of the owner and so forth by doing the ox. If it's a human being, human life is involved. Is it different whether it's an ox or a cat? It doesn't difference. So why is the say an ox? Because Dibra Teira B'Hoiva.
What?
Dibra Teira B'Hoiva. Why Teira B'Hoiva? Why isn't the Torah speak hypothetically? Hypothetically, in generalities. Because Torah is a source of life for the Hoya, for the world. So it speaks in factual terms. If this ox that Torah created, gores another ox, his has to take place. This is essentially what it means, what Torah behavior. There is no hypothetical statements in Torah. Everything is factual, and that's why there's a derech halimud that you learn from one case to the other case to another case.
Why is not hypothetical? If an ox is to gore, this is what would happen.
That's not hypothetical. An ox is an ox. An ox is not a hypothetical
It doesn't
creature.
have to gore something.
No, you don't miss a point. You're talking about a specific instance that is clearly defined.
So a specific case is brought from which we learn out the general club.
And for this, this is the basis for learning out any other instance
So this
that
behavior,
is comparable to it.
So this behavior is saying it brings a case in the present tense, but it's relevant for all times. You're going to
Yeah.
learn out something that's going to serve you in later days as well.
Yeah, because if it's similar, you have to compare it. If it compares, if it's similar, then it's called binyan av. It's a bono av. Binyan av means you build a structure on the basis of this basis.
So this about the Chachamim and Lo Dibru Chachamim Ela B'Hoiver.
Behoiver means in that which actually exists.
Oh,
Must be behoiver. Why? Because it exists because of Dibur Chachamim, because of Torah, of Torah.
it exists.
So he
before
talks
time.
talking about something where it belongs.
Oh.
Yes.
So we see that the Vara Chachamim this what makes the whole bit.
Say again.
So we see that the Vara Chachamim that's what makes the whole bit.
Yeah. That's what we're saying. Tamil Chachamim Banoim, they build the world. Torah is what builds the world. All right. So let us go to the haven. Time to done.
And therefore there's the morning at all.
Good morning.
On to
Mikol